Alright folks, welcome back to Let's Play Enchanter. I'm the Mysterious JG, your host for this text adventure from the old days of computer games. In the last video, we had managed to get into the castle and we visited the Northwest Tower where we found a jeweled egg. Opening the jeweled egg, however, is proving to be a problem because when we open it, we end up wrecking the scroll that is inside. I, however, am fairly certain that this is meant to happen, and we have to find a way to replace the egg. I am also, as you'll see, occasionally getting messages telling us our stomach is grumbling. I'm going to put off eating the bread, because in an ideal playthrough I would be doing a lot fewer actions than I'm doing, but I'm going to wander around, I'm going to look at things, I'm going to try stuff to try to show you as much of the game as I can, and not have the most efficient possible solution, which means that we need to make sure we stretch the food out, because food and water are basically the time-limiting factors in this game. Passage leads from here to the east and south. Hall of Mirrors 1. This is the western end of the Hall of Mirrors. The hall itself is astounding and not a little bit confusing. To be sure, its northern wall is glass, but it does not seem to reflect anything within the hall. Rather, it seems to be a window on another world. This other world appears to be a large underground labyrinth filled with tunnels, caves, and peculiar rock formations. We get the exact same description. This is a spot within rather than the western end. And we keep going and it's another spot within. And then we keep going again and we get to the eastern end. So basically we have 4 screens worth of a Hall of Mirrors, where there is a northern wall of glass which appears to separate us from another world. Now we could break the glass, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. There are no shards of glass here yet. Didn't seem like it let me break it. North, you can't go that way. East, North Gate. This small open area stands at the old north gate of the castle, now badly rusted. Through the gate, a forest can be seen. To the west, why didn't we approach the castle through the forest then? Through the gate, a forest can be seen. To the west, a hall glows with light. And to the south, the dark castle can be re-entered. A narrow passage to the east leads to the base of the northeast tower. Let's go to the northeast tower. Ooh, guarded door. A more incongruous place than this would be difficult to believe. The room itself is nothing more than a small room at the base of the northeast tower, with a narrow passageway entering from the west. Standing in front of you to the north, however, is a door surpassing anything you could have imagined. For starters, its massive lock is wrapped in a dozen 6-inch thick iron chains. In addition, a certain 5-headed monster sporting razor-sharp spears for tongues seems to be embedded within its heavy oak frame. One is almost embarrassed to mention the gargoyles spewing flame and sulphurous ash which ornament either side of the door, or the 97 slimy, groping tentacles which taunt you ever closer to certain death. A sign floating serenely above the door and glowing hideously in purple letters offers the following rude understatement: don't bother. Save. North. 3 or 4 tentacles grab you briefly and send you flying. North. You manage to reach one of the iron chains before it turns into a pair of teeth and bites you. North. 2 or perhaps 3 monster heads reach out for you, spearing you in the process. North. The door opens and 19 demons, each a cross between a carrot and a sledgehammer, march out from behind it, knock you senseless, and return, the last closing the door behind it. North. You've really gotten those tentacles in an uproar. 63 of them grab you and pull in 63 different directions. Not good for the digestion. And you are killed. I already have my spellbook, so maybe I'm not, when I'm dying, I'm not actually losing my spellbook. Either way, I'm just going to go ahead and restore. Well, we can't go through the north door. Can we go up? Oh, okay, the north door is the one that goes up. Oh, the sign has changed. Now it says, had enough. North. One of the gargoyles spits in your direction, burning your arm with incendiary byproducts. Read sign. Here's your sign. It says, go away. North. And we get the sledgehammer demons again. Read sign. Give up. North. Read sign. Give up. Restore. Alright, so the sign changes. But the bottom line is that there appears to be an impossible amount of obstacles preventing us from going through that door. There's monsters, monster tentacles, thick chains. If you open the door, there's nothing inside but demons who beat your ass and kill you. So try to think of a solution for all of those problems at once. North. The gate is rusted shut. Open gate. Gate is rusted shut. Learn Rezrov. Rezrov gate. The rusted gate magically creaks open far enough for you to leave. You are beginning to tire. Oh, I happen to remember where it is where you can safely sleep, but it would be telling for me to just rush to that location since we haven't actually found it yet during standard gameplay. North. Forest. You are in a dark forest just north of a rusted gate. Except to the east and south, the forest is thick all around you. The darkening sky is lit by a waning moon. Discarded beneath a nearby tree is a slightly scrumpled scroll. You hear a rustling in the branches nearby, and you catch a glimpse of something small and furry as it scurries away. You are very hungry now. You better have something to eat. Alright, eat bread. That tasted great. There's a whole lot of it left, too. Let's read our book here. The Knitfall spell. Knitfall... Furry. I don't know the word furry. Oh, they're generally anime fans who want to have sex with animals. Knitfall... Self. You don't have the Knitfall spell committed to memory. Learn Knitfall. Knitfall self. I want to talk to the squirrel or whatever it is. Squirrel. You now understand everything you say to yourself, which is more than I can do. You didn't study too hard in Thaumaturgy 101, did you? The spell should be cast on the creature you wish to talk to. Dick. Which do you mean, the slightly scrumpled scroll or the shredded scroll? Get scroll. Read crumpled. The scroll reads, Krebth spell, repair willful damage. Oh, excellent. Nesto Krebth. Your spellbook begins to glow softly, slowly, ornately. The words the Krebth spell are inscribed, glowing even more brightly than the book itself. The book's brightness fades, but the spell remains. However, the scroll on which it was written vanishes as the last word is copied. Learn Krebth. You learned the Krebth spell. You are now feeling tired, and the spells you've memorized are becoming confused. Krebth. The shredded scroll. You don't have the Krebth. It's not going to let me. Until I sleep, it won't let me do this. You have so much buzzing around your head, though, that it's likely that something may have been forgotten in the shuffle. Krebth. Shredded. The scroll reforms. Okay, it did do it. I just maybe try more than once. The scroll reforms. It slices and cuts, rejoining until there's a whole scroll, somewhat faded, in its place. Read scroll. The scroll reads, Zifmia spell, magically summon a being. You're now becoming quite thirsty. Gnusto. Zifmia. Your spellbook begins to glow softly. Slowly, ornately, the words the Zifmia spell inscribed. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, we need to come back here later, but... Whoa! Missed something there. I'm heading back towards the entrance because I happen to know that if we had gone south when we first entered the castle instead of north, we would have come to a bedroom where, for whatever reason, you are allowed to sleep without your stuff getting stolen. However, we missed something while zipping back. From the other side of the mirror, in the Hall of Mirrors, a bedraggled adventurer comes into view, carrying a brass lantern and an elvish sword, which is glowing dimly. He stops and stares in your direction. We just ignored him. Don't worry, we'll get a chance to see him again later. He seems like he's just kind of a fun Easter egg. He is, in fact, essential to winning the game, because he's supposed to be the adventurer from Zork, the first Zork game. They're in an underground cavern in this other world. He's got a lantern and an elvish sword. He's supposed to be exploring the world of Zork. West Hall. This is south of where we first came into the castle. This narrow promenade stretches into darkness to the south and through an archway towards an open area to the north. You are very thirsty now. You better have a drink soon. Fine, damn it. The delicious spring water tasted great, and there's lots more where that came from. South Tower. This dark and damp spot is at the base of the southwest tower of the castle. 2 corridors lead off to the north and east. A winding staircase ascends into the tower. Up. Bedroom. I don't know that word. The eyrie is a round bedroom high in the tower. I'm embarrassed. It's not that often that I come across English language words I don't know at all. Narrow windows overlook the outside. A stone stairway leads down. The stars shine down upon you from a clear, dark sky. There is a 4-poster feather bed here. Get in bed. Lying on this soft bed puts you to sleep. You fall asleep quickly, the bed being so comfortable. You dream as well of this very room. A beautiful damsel, obviously noble, is standing by the bed, holding a scroll in one hand and resting the other on the bedpost. Turning to block your view, she does something you can't see. Then she gets in bed and turns out the light, but before she does, you can see she is no longer carrying the scroll. You wake. Let's see if anything got stolen. No. There's actually a spell we can use to protect our items, but we haven't come across it yet, so we're actually rather lucky nothing got stolen there. Look at... This is important. It's not something I did the first time. I just saw that dream, read it, thought that was interesting, and moved on. But in fact, we have to look at the bedpost. A careful examination reveals the outlines of a small compartment, and near it an ornate carving which looks like a button. You could never have found it on your own. Because if you're playing the game and you know that there's something here and you look at the bedpost, now this won't come up and you won't see the button until you've had that dream. So, I hope I didn't give that away. I should have faked being confused and puzzling out what to do. But in fact, you have that dream. You see she's messing with the bedpost. You've got to examine the bedpost where she was messing with in your dream. Press the button. Push the button. You can't do that from your resting position. Get up. Ah, that was a comfortable bed, but now you're on your feet again. Push the button. Not botan. Button. Botan, the character was really important in the first few episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho, and then just becomes a background character who never has to do anything. I think that was Botan, or perhaps I'm thinking of Wotan, the god of war in the Ring Saga. The bedpost pops open, revealing a small compartment, and nestled inside a gold leaf scroll. Get scroll. Read scroll. The scroll reads Vexum spell. Make a hostile creature your friend. Nusto Vexum. Your spellbook begins to glow softly, and we've read this one many times. Down. Let's go north a couple times until we get back to the Hall of Mirrors. And then the North Gate, and then the forest. This is where the game stopped letting us do anything because it said we needed to sleep. You're in a dark forest just north of Rusted Gate. Except to the east and south, the forest is thick all around you. The forest is deep and dark. I wouldn't go there. Don't go there, man. East, swamp. You are in a thick forest shading into a deep and miasmic swamp. The ground is very wet and boggy here. The boggy creek creature lives nearby. And footing is treacherous. Lily pads cover the surface of the water, and frogs abound. Things look drier to the west. The sound of frogs and other swamp dwellers fills the air. Read book. It's pretty rare for the game to terminate a path in a certain direction, and there to be nothing of any interest there. The Blorb spell. Oh, we had the Blorb spell from the beginning. I didn't realize that. Blorb spell creates the strong box. I should have cast that on my stuff before we went to bed, but I think we got lucky and didn't have any problems there. But we want to learn Knitfall. The sound of frogs and other swamp dwellers fills the air. That's a hint. In fact, if you do any command in this room, like from, wait or read a book or look at scroll or drink water, it always gives you the message, the sounds of frogs and other swamp dwellers fill the air. This is a hint as to what you're supposed to do here, which is converse with the frogs. One of the frogs looks at you for a moment, and you look at it. Hello, it says. The sound of frogs and other swamp dwellers fill the air. The frog says, look under the lily pad. Brip. Look under the lily pad. Brip. And if you continue to hang around here, they go, Bud, why is there... But not really, because this game predates that ad campaign by many years. Look under lily pad. You do not have to do this spell with the frogs to do this, but the idea that you just go around randomly looking under lily pads otherwise is silly. There's a damp scroll key there, which you take into your hand. The sound of frogs and other swamp dwellers fills the air. The frogs are discussing the politics of lily pad assignment. Get scroll. You already have it. Oh, you take it into your hand as soon as you see it. The frogs are discussing the recent disturbing rise in the number of predators in the swamp. Read scroll. The scroll reads, Clear spell. Change a creature into a small amphibian. The sound of frogs and other swamp dwellers fills the air. The frogs are discussing what they will do if they ever become princes again. Nusto. Cleash. And you learn the Cleash spell, or you put it in your book. The sound of frogs. The frogs are discussing the Interlogic series of prose adventures. I forget what Interlogic is. I don't remember if it's a competitor of Infocom or if it was like a set of games within Infocom's. I think it was like the Infocom Interlogic were some of their stuff. The frogs are discussing the finer points of insect flavoring, prose adventures, insect flavoring, lily pads. Okay, I think we've seen them all now. And I'm getting hungry again, damn it. Library. This is a library, or rather it was until it was ransacked and despoiled. Most of the contents of the room have been burned in a huge bonfire in the center of the room. Hundreds of charred and empty tubes are scattered about as if by someone searching, so ashes are strewn about. There are rat tracks in the ashes. To the south you can hear the sound of a group of low, guttural voices. Amid the tubes is an old and dusty book. You want to save your game here, because if you, hang around here, look at tubes, see nothing special about the tubes. Look at book. Which book do you mean? The dusty book or the spell book? Dusty. The first page of the book was the table of contents. Only 2 chapter names can be read. Legend of the Unseen Terror and Legend of the Great Implementers. Get book. Take in, your mouth is getting rather dry. Wait. The low guttural voices seem to be coming your direction. A group of 4 hunched and hairy shapes walks into your presence. They seem surprised to see you. After whispering a few guttural words to each other, they start to move towards you purposefully, and they grab you and you get taken to the cell. This will happen if you hang around in this room. You may have noticed there's a courtyard in the middle of the castle, and the castle has towers in the northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast corners. So basically, the area around the courtyard is a square. And if you approach this same place that we're at now from the south instead of the north, you get the same problem. What we're basically looking at, folks, is we've got a square. We've explored the northern path. We've explored the western path, because at the southern part of that western path is where we were able to sleep. We haven't been on the southern part at all. But we're now at the northeast corner trying to head south. So we're on the eastern section of this square. And on the eastern section of the square is actually how you're going to be able to get to the dark turret that is between the northeast and southeast towers. The dark turret, which is full of dark magic and blah 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 blah. And as you've probably guessed, is going to be where we need to ultimately go to face the evil warlock Krill. So they don't make it easy for you to get there, and these monsters will hang around and stop you. As a matter of fact, you can't even get all that close before you start running into problems. But we do know from our spellbook that there are some things we could do here. So let's learn Knitfall and try to talk to these guys. Wait. Knitfall shapes. The shapes, whose language you understand instinctively, say something on the order of blood for sacrifice, master pleased, and other not-so-soothing words as they approach. The group of hunched and hairy shapes take you into their arms and escort you into a huge temple. And nothing else changes here. So you can't talk to them as soon as they appear on the first turn where they are actually in the room and are an object you can interact with. You spend casting the spell, and the second turn, like, you understand what they're saying, but they basically grab you and take you away. So don't help you any to understand what they're saying. What else? What could we do instead? We could make them our friends. Let's learn Vaxum. As we learn the Vaxum spells, they wander towards us purposefully. Vaxum shapes. The shapes who were on the verge of reaching you seem to waver in their resolve. After a moment's pause, they leave the room together, talking in a less guttural tone, which might correspond to their cheerfulness. Your mouth is getting rather dry. Okay. So now we're in the room. Here's our problem. The low and guttural voices are back. So we can get rid of them, but a new set spawns immediately. So there's nothing that we can do to like permanently get rid of them. It seems like we get rid of those two shapes, making them our friends. More of them start to appear. So let's learn Cleash, which turns them into amphibians. That bought us a little time, but now when we cleash the shapes, they turn into a small convention of newts who run away. More voices seem to be coming in our direction. Basically, we don't get a lot of time to do anything in this room. So let's get the book. Let's Vaxum these guys. And we're still in trouble here. Boy, this is a library rather was. I'm trying to think, but there's something else we have to do in here is the thing. Most of the contents of the room have been burned in a huge bonfire in the center. Hundreds of charred and empty tubes scattered about as if by someone searching, and so ashes are strewn about. There are rat tracks in the ashes. The rat tracks thing is important. Let's go north and get out of here. Fortunately for you, the gang has stopped following you. Relax for a moment and heave a sigh of relief. Then we go south, and they seem to be coming in our direction. Let's learn Cleash. Let's Cleash them. They seem to be coming my direction. We have to follow tracks. There are plenty of rat tracks here going in various directions. One prominent rodentine thoroughfare stands out, though, going as it does into a small hole in the wall. Now we've got to get out of here again. Now we go south. Inspection has revealed that the tracks lead into a small hole in the wall. Look in hole. It's too dark to see anything in the hole. Reach in hole. You reach around for a moment and come up with something. It's a frayed scroll. You're becoming quite thirsty. Get scroll? You already have it. Let's get out of here. Let's drink some water. Let's read the scroll. Gondar spell. Quench an open flame. Nusto Gondar. You're fairly starving. If you don't eat soon, you will pass out. Eat bread. There's a lot of bread left, too. Let's go back to the room with the guarded door. Have we learned anything that will help us here? Oh, no. Let me just read book. Spell book. We can quench an open flame. We can change a creature into a small amphibian. We can make a hostile creature our friend. Magically summon a being. I'm thinking that this door is like alive, it seems like. So maybe we can make the door our friend. Or turn it into an amphibian. We could open even locked or enchanted objects. Oh, we never even tried Razorov. Converse with beasts in their own tongue. There's a couple of things we could try here. Let's learn Razorov. Razorov door. As you cast the Razorov spell, the door shudders briefly, and a few tentacles pause in their unending motion. The two gargoyles look at each other, perplexed. After a tense moment, the sign above the door flashes briefly. Fat chance. Okay, so that's not strong enough magic. Learn Vaxum. Vaxum door. Although you complete the spell, nothing seems to have happened. Learn Cleash. cliche door. Turning the guarded door into a newt is a remarkable idea, but apparently not one that's going to work. What did we not try? We didn't try knitfall. Seems to have no effect on the guarded door. Alright. Well, Hall of Mirrors 4. From the other side of the mirror, a bedraggled adventurer comes into view, carrying a brass lantern and an elvish sword which is glowing dimly. He stops and stares in your direction. Wave. Wave at adventurer. He doesn't seem to notice your gesture. We'll have to deal with him eventually. So let's go someplace we haven't been before. East, to the South Hall. The damp corridor continues east and west from here. A dark and forbidding stairway leads down to the south. In addition, a narrow passage leads to the north. What happens if we go north? We go to a closet. The small room must have been a closet of some sort. To the north is a passage leading out into a courtyard. Another exit is to the south. In the exact center of the room is a large jeweled box. It is wrapped in tight coils of thin rope. You try to follow the strands with your eye, but become hopelessly lost in the jumble of thousands of loops and knots. You are beginning to tire. It's pretty much time to end the video. I don't really want to record another whole video, but I really don't feel like stopping right now. I feel like we're close to getting something useful. We don't want to go north. That goes into the courtyard. Let's learn Resrov. Let's try to Resrov the rope. The magic in the rope is strong enough to prevent the Resrov spell from working fine. Alrighty. Looks like that's not going to cut it, folks. Cut it. You know how they untied the Gordian knot, don't you? It's a bit of a cheat, in my opinion. But Alexander apparently just gave it a whack with a sword and pat himself on the back. It's like, oh, I'm so clever. It's like, no, you're not. You're just a brute. Assuming that I've got that story correct at all. Anyway. Yeah, so that's where we're at now, folks. We've got 2 videos down. We've explored a decent chunk of the castle, but we've got this army of hairy brutes to deal with. We've figured out how to deal with a couple of them at a time by making them our friends or turning them into newts, but there seems to be an infinite number of them, more or less. So we've got more of the castle to explore before we start giving up or anything like that. What are the puzzles that we know we have to face? Well, I kind of let it slip that we've got to get into the temple at some point, although that probably is not a huge surprise to you. We're obviously going to have to find a way to get past that door. I suppose it could be a red herring, the fact that it's got this like goofy over-the-top description of how impossible it will be for you to get through. But yeah, it's not actually a red herring. We're going to have to figure out something with that door. So why don't you guys give it some thought? I know the answers to these puzzles because I've played the game fairly recently. But yeah, think it through, folks. Try to figure some of this out for yourself. Although, in fairness, with that door puzzle, don't think too hard on it because we don't actually have what we need to accomplish that yet. Well, wait, let me think. I might tell a lie. I think technically with the inventory we've got, we could do it. But for me, it's one of the toughest puzzles in the game. It's one of the ones that originally I had to get the hint book to help me with. Because the problem is, we're going to come across an item that you can use to solve that. But you need that item somewhere else. There's 2 different ways to get through that door. One of them is using this one-time use spell, and the other one is the correct way, because the place where you need to use that one-time use spell does not have an alternate solution. It's really kind of sneaky and mean, and more modern puzzle games avoid this, but Enchanter very much puts you in a, the game is unwinnable position with that particular puzzle. But I'll explain more about that when we find the spell, and soon we'll be finding our way towards defeating the evil wizard Grill. This is Mysterious JG. I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye now.